What's up, everybody? I'm Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel, and today I'm finally going to do an overview on the Demko AD20.5. And thanks to my buddy Craig, Saigon Kick 2018 on Instagram, I've had two of these to play with for a couple weeks now, and both of these have been modified. I'm going to start by saying that. The clip point here has OG Goat aluminum scales on it, super thin with this one, and the shark's foot has micarta scales, and I cannot for the life of me remember who makes these micarta scales. It's either RPT or maybe it was Sharp Dress Knives. I'm not sure, but anyway, it does make this knife thicker with these scales. These thicken it up quite a bit with a micarta backspacer in there also. So the specs I'm going to give you for the knife, I'm going to give you the specs for the shark's foot from the manufacturer, not the current specs of this knife or this knife. So, and I've put this off for a while. This is the knife I was probably the most excited to get from Craig, and it's one of the last ones I'm doing an overview of, just because not only because when I get done I gotta send them back, and I don't want to, but I have to, and I will, but also because, I don't know, there's just such a different feeling knife. When I first got it, it took me a little bit to get the hang of it, to get the feel of it, because if I didn't deploy it all the way, it would want to come back and get me if my finger happened to slide over there, and it happened a couple times, hit my nail, but never cut me. And then the same with the close. If you don't go all the way, it'll want to come back on you. It's very much has a feel similar to an Axis lock, only better, much better in my opinion. And I do have a disassembly of this knife, disassembly video, and I really like this knife. I am fascinated by it. It's such a simple locking design, but ingenious at the same time. It's one of those things where once you take it apart and you look at it, you're like, why did it take someone so long to think of this? It's it's so cool, and it's so fun to fidget with. Super fun to fidget with. Very, very, very fun knife to play with, and it makes great sounds too. It's just the sounds it makes. I haven't mastered it yet where I can get it to not bounce when it closes. I'm sure that time I got it. You gotta let off of it just in time like that. Oh, see, about got myself there. I have a bad habit of my index finger wanting to slide, or my ring finger wanting to slide up. And if you don't push it hard enough, she's coming back to get you. So, all right, let me give you the specs. Remember, these are factory specs. Cutting edge is 3 inches, blade length is 3.25 inches, overall length 7.625 inches, shark's foot blade on this, OS 10A steel, Grivery scales, although this does not have the Grivery scales, it comes with Grivery scales. This has the shark lock, and I don't see a claimed weight on it, and I'm not going to weigh this knife because this is not how you would receive this knife. So weight's not going to be important here. What is important is this action. This action is fantastic. And one other thing I do want to let you know is you can pinch yourself with this knife. If you don't get your finger out of the way, I have a couple times, I don't know if it was the lock that got me or the blade that got me, pinched the skin, not cut me or anything. It's just like a little pinch. I can't figure out what did it, but it's happened a couple times. It will, I'm not sure which one gets you. I'm trying to pinch myself right now and I can't get it to happen. It only happens occasionally. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I absolutely love this thing. This one here is going to be more close to the width you get directly from Demko, and it's a thin knife, and I generally have trouble with thin knives, but the way these scales are done, where they've got these carved out here, it just works very well for my hands. Even with the arthritis in the knuckles, this thin one works very well in my hands. This one's even better, obviously, because it's a little thicker, but you know, this isn't how you're going to receive it, so it's not really fair for me to say that. This is closer to what it's going to be like factory. You have a forward, not really a forward finger choil, but you can use it like a forward finger choil. You can grip up there. I wouldn't suggest doing any piercing, but if you're just push cuts, you'll be fine, because there's nothing really to keep your finger from going forward. So multiple forms of deployment. You've got the reverse flick, you have thumb flick, and you can do both with the thumb studs or the hole. I have heard of some people removing their thumb studs. I don't know why you do that, but I have heard some people do that. And then you have just the regular old, just pull the lock back and sling it out. Don't even need to use anything. Makes it, it's so it almost feels like an assisted knife to me, but it's assisted on the close and it feels assisted on the open. Once you get past this point here, that's where you kind of, the spring gets neutralized. It's at a point where it's spring's not pulling either way, but once you get to a certain point, it pulls it open. Same with the close. Once you close, the blade gets to a certain point, it just sucks that thing in. You better be out of the way, because it sucks it down quickly. See that? Very, very cool. This is an exciting knife for more than one reason. Obviously, it's very forward thinking, very innovative, but this is just the first knife, you know. Imagine what else Demko can create using this locking system. What other things are to come. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what he does in the future. So it's going to be very interesting to see, I don't know how long the patent lasts, or if he sells this lock to other companies, lets other companies use it. There's some other locks that look very similar to this already, but they call it something else and it's slightly different, but I'm not going to call out any names, but it almost looks like they're copying this locking system. Very similar. Fascinating knife. Fascinating knife. Only thing that's more fascinating in my opinion right now, or more forward thinking right now than this knife, is one I'm going to give you a size comparison to right now. The Winter Blade Co. Factor. This one's a little more, it's newer, so it's got a more hype around it right now. And I actually am doing a versus video. My episode 2 versus is going to be these two knives. Let me go ahead and give you a couple other size comparisons. Fair and Forge Archbishop. And we'll, since I've got it out, we'll do the Wiha Kulix. And let's go ahead and do some Spydercos. Spyderco pair 3. Very, very similar size. And go ahead and pull out the Yojimbo 2. Yeah, a little shorter than the Yojimbo 2. Pair 3 is very, very close in size. And honestly, ergonomically, I know it sounds crazy, but the pair 3 feels very similar to this. I don't know why that is. For my hand anyway. They're different shapes. I think it's this right here that gets you, right? The way they've done this, it looks similar. Only thing really different is right here on the Demko. You got this spot, which is, I like that spot a lot. But they're very similar grips. The Demko and the pair 3 are. This is an overview, not a review, so I cannot say anything about the steel on this knife. I've heard mixed results. I've heard, I think it was some of the earlier on models, the AUS 10A was chippy. Some people had issues with it, but it seems like something that they fixed, because I've heard many, many people, including Craig, say there is absolutely nothing wrong with the AUS 10A. It works great. He has several of these. These aren't the only two. He's got even more of these things. So he thinks the AUS 10A is fantastic. So, and I've heard a lot of people say that. I think when these first came out, there may have been a heat treat issue or something like that, but it's something that I think has been resolved. So take that with a grain of salt. I have not sharpened or anything like that with these knives, so I can't speak on that. But you can do some research and find that out on other channels. And yeah, Very cool knife. Thank you, Craig, for sending these in and let me check them out. Just to update, I did order a 3V version of one of these. Should be here in a week, something like that. So unfortunately, it has the red grivery, but I plan on replacing those. So I am getting one of my own now that I've had a chance to play with these. I love these things. I absolutely love these things. And I can't wait to get my own and mod it out the way I want it to be. I'm thinking fat carbon. I think fat carbon may be the way to go. Alright guys, leave a comment below if you have any questions or if you have any comments. You own one of these and let me know what you think about OS 10A on yours. Have you had any issues with it chipping or anything, or has it held up well for you? Yeah, let me know. I would be and I'm sure people that watch the video would like to know also. Yeah. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. And stay tuned because my versus video between these two knives is coming very soon. I'll see you guys on the next one.